لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك.
في المدينة
محمد نبينا بنور هدينا محمد نبينا بنور هدينا.
The chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, Barrister Abdullahi Mukhtar, says the federal government will soon announce Hajj fares for the 2017 pilgrimage. He stated this in a BBC Hausa program, Ganema Nihanya. While expressing satisfaction with the preparations so far, Barrister Abdullahi disclosed that the Hajj fare this year will differ from state to state as a result of the new policy on accommodation adopted by the Commission. The policy takes into consideration the distance of the place of abode from Masjid al-Haram and facilities availability, as well as the services a state is offering to its pilgrims. The NAHCON chairman also disclosed that Nigeria is keen into the new transportation system introduced by Saudi government for the movement of pilgrims to places such as Mina, Arafah and Muzdalifah, among others. In the meantime, Barrister Abdullahi Mukhtar has reiterated the Commission's position to scale down the number of its officials allowed to perform the Hajj in order to save cost and allow for effective service delivery to pilgrims. The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, is making plans to kickstart the full implementation of Hajj Savings Scheme as enshrined in its 2006 Establishment Act. The Secretary of the Commission, Dr. Mohammed Bello Tambuwal, stated this when he received on courtesy call students from the Department of Hospitality and Tourism, Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Ogun State.
We automate it in future. That's the intention of the Commission, so that people can be able to pay through the Hajj Savings Scheme over time, maybe within a period of 5 years, 6 years, to be able to go to Saudi Arabia, perform the Hajj, and maybe at a certain year. In some countries, people will continue to deposit money for a period of up to 10 years. Some couples were met. When are you people planning to go? Say, well, by the pace of payment we make, we think we'll be able to go to Mecca to perform Hajj after 20 years. We say, what if we die? Say, yes, if we die, at least the intention is there. And the money is also what is invested. So there are elements of investment. Whatever money that is saved, investment is there. So we also have plans for investment in future, because the Commission will make effort towards some certain financial autonomy.
While introducing the students to the many tourism potentials in Hajj, Dr. Tambuwal said Saudi Arabia has given Nigeria a June 2017 deadline to conclude all arrangements for this year's Hajj. He then urged the students to make the best use of their study in order to make Nigeria proud.
But the most important thing for you is to understand the education you acquire should assist you to start life. To start life. Understand the nature of our society. Maybe, inshallah, in future, when you are in position, you sit down to make plan, maybe 5-year development plan for Nigeria, by our population growth rate. Now you plan. By 2025, we need 50,000 medical doctors. We need 100,000 engineers. We need 50,000 pharmacists. So you plan the system toward that, so that everybody that graduates will be able to get absorbed. So long as there is no this planning on ground, it will be difficult to absorb everybody that passes out from the university.
Speaking earlier, leader of the delegation Ibrahim Adesina said the essence of the visit is to acquaint themselves with tourism potentials during Hajj.
Best thing is to look at areas where we have potentials and see how we can make this upcoming graduate fit into those places.
What it is, how it is.
Meanwhile, NAHCON Head of Pilgrims Education and Orientation, Dr. Aliu Tanko, took time to explain key aspects of Hajj symbols and their significance to the students.
We call it Haram in Arabic, the house of Allah.
in English, and the center of attraction for any Islamic religious activity. You are actually here to familiarize
On his part, the Secretary of the Association of Hajj and Umrah Operations of Nigeria, AHUAN, Alhaji Abdul Malik Hassan, put the students through the activities of tour operators as partners in Hajj and Umrah, pointing out the significance of the sector in tourism.
There is always a ready-made market. There's always a ready-made demand for this aspect of tourism. You will always have people that want to go for Hajj and Umrah year in, year out.
My question is this,
The students ask questions for more clarifications on some of the issues discussed.
Can a Christian work in such organization, or it's just for Muslims?
If, for instance, you have a Muslim tour operator, and you do the same thing, some other people also do other tourism. You can partner and move on, but you cannot visit to make the arrangement, but you can always have the opportunity of partnering with people that are in the business.
In an effort to improve Hajj information management in Nigeria, independent Hajj reporters and Nigerian Union of Journalists Kaduna chapter are organizing a retreat on information system and media reportage for Hajj information managers. National Coordinator of Independent Hajj Reporters Ibrahim Muhammad explains that the retreat's focus is on promoting specialization in Hajj reporting and information management.
Just like we have specialized reporting in media reportage, you have some people who are expert in ICT, business-based, judiciary and everything. But you haven't have anywhere you hear somebody is actually specialized in Hajj reporting. You may have a religious beat, but you don't have people who specialize in Hajj reporting. And as you know, Hajj is a spiritual purification exercise that has some reflection on emotion, you know, and a highly sensitive issues.
The coordinator says the primary target for the program are chief executives of state pilgrims boards, journalists covering Hajj activities across the country, public relations officers of state pilgrims boards and Hajj service providers, among others. But how then will this benefit the ordinary Nigerian pilgrim?
Now, with the Hajj information managers acquainted with the basic laws, with the basic rules and regulations of Hajj, they will be able to, during enlightenment campaign, pass this particular information back to their various pilgrims, which will also bring orderliness and cohesion, and will not lead to any further embarrassment to Nigeria. Because during Hajj, all pilgrims are ambassadors of Nigeria.
لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك.
The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, is charged with the responsibility of managing Hajj and Umrah affairs. This is clearly spelt out in the Act establishing it, part of which reads, "The Commission shall license, regulate, supervise and perform oversight functions over organizations, associations, corporate and non-corporate or similar bodies engaged in organizing and coordinating the movement of persons from Nigeria to Saudi Arabia to perform Hajj or Umrah." The state's pilgrims welfare boards and tour operators are the key stakeholders involved in the discharge of these responsibilities. Alhaji Alidu Shitu, head of tour operators at NAHCON, provides an insight.
Hajj generally is divided into two. It's being run by the government and by the private tour operators. These tour operators are those who are licensed to organize Hajj and Umrah. And like I mentioned, every year the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria allocates specific number of seats to private Hajj operators. And before any company can qualify to be licensed tour operators, with National Hajj Commission of Nigeria. He has to be registered with the commission. There are lists of requirements to be fulfilled by applicant tour operators, so that at the end of the day, if the company is able to fulfill the list of requirements, the company will now be licensed to organize Hajj or Umrah, as the case may be.
The requirements set by NAHCON for the registration of tour operators include the registration of prospective companies with Corporate Affairs Commission and a capital base of 30 million naira.
Another major requirement set by the commission is that the company must have obtained a IATA license for him or her to apply to the commission for registration. Then we come into offices. The company must have secured a befitting office for the company to operate, not Gura office. And alhamdulillah, I can tell you, since the commission came on board, we have been able to attain this level. All the tour operators registered with the commission, they have befitting offices, well equipped and with professionals. This we have been able to achieve.
Having met these requirements, these companies will then submit applications to NAHCON indicating the interest to participate in Hajj or Umrah exercise.
At the beginning of every Hajj operation, we do publish our adverts in the national dailies, requesting for interesting tour operator to apply for Hajj license and Hajj slots. And we make sure we list the criteria to be fulfilled, the requirement to be fulfilled by these applicant tour operators. And after they might have obtained the form, we now conduct due diligence on the application submitted by these tour operators. At times, we even employ the services of other relevant government agencies to assist us in this regard. And that is what we have been doing year in, year out. So that at the end of the day, a particular number of tour operators that have met the requirements set for that particular year will now be licensed to perform Hajj for that particular year.
The exercise is in line with the Commissions Act, which says, after satisfying all due process for registration, the Commission may recognize, register, and issue license to travel agencies for the purpose of all travel arrangement of pilgrims. The question is, who are these tour operators and how do they function?
Tour operators in relation to Hajj exercise are that body of experts in travels and tours with buyers in Hajj and Umrah services, whereby they organize your trip, your religious pilgrimage, from ticketing at home until you return. It covers your hotel accommodation, your movement in the holy sites, your transportation, your meet and greet at the airport, and feeding.
Malam Abubakar speaks further on the category of pilgrims they serve.
The tour operators cover a niche, and that is of people who are busy executives who want to move quickly, say their devotions, and return to their office at the right time. So this is the type of clientele that the tour operators serve.
These pilgrims also enjoy services from NAHCON.
The services being provided by National Hajj Commission of Nigeria is for the entire Nigerian pilgrims, be it state or private Hajj operators. because it is only the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria that has the mandate, the overall control, overall management of the entire Hajj from Nigeria, not specific about state alone. It is for both the state and the private Hajj operators. So these services to all private operators are enjoying these services being provided by National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, either here or in the Holy Land.
The tour operators operate from 3 zones of the country, namely Kano, Lagos and Abuja. In dealing with the tour operators, NAHCON has in place measures designed to enhance their performance. One of such is capacity building for the effective management of Hajj and Umrah.
If you remove that male pilgrim, all the female pilgrim in that group, the computer will automatically reject them.
In this training session, NAHCON engages tour operators on how to key into the new way of doing things, such as the electronic system of Hajj management, especially the e-track introduced by the Saudi authorities before issuance of visas to pilgrims.
So we thought within the commission that if you can train the State's Welfare Board, why not you put in the tour operators too and train them? Because it's their responsibility to book accommodation for their clients in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and it's their responsibility to take them safely to the kingdom and bring them back to their respective destination safely. So that is why we are doing this training for them. They are also stakeholders. They have their user accounts where they capture their data and do the necessary requirement for the visa issuance.
Participants from the travel agency say the training could not have come at a better time.
Of course, we have learned a lot of things, new things. The old things that we know, is confirmed. You know, when you hear something that you have been doing and it confirms the knowledge, and then you have the new ways.
Updating us will give us what and what is supposed to be done, so that it will, the objective of having each free Hajj will be achieved.
With this, the awareness is there, the knowledge we gain. Alhamdulillah.
In a related development, the Association of Hajj and Umrah Operators of Nigeria, in collaboration with the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, hosted a conference with the theme Towards a Better Hajj Operation and Services Delivery in the 21st Century. The national president of the association, Alhaji Abdul Fattah Abdul Majid, said, "The choice of the topic was deliberate and underscores the need for key actors in Hajj and Umrah operation to attune themselves to changing trend in Hajj management and operations."
The theme of this conference is well chosen, and that is towards a better Hajj operation and services delivery in the 21st century. The aim of this conference is to have a critical look at the industry yesterday and today, with the hope of learning from history how to improve on our performances where necessary, and possibly have a complete change of our approach and attitude, with the hope that the outcome of today's conference will impact positively on all our future handling of the industry.
NAHCON Chairman Barrister Abdullahi Mukhtar says the Commission will ensure that the activities of tour operators are carried out without hitches and in accordance with the dictates of NAHCON Act.
Your business is unlike other businesses. It's faith-based. Ours is to set standard, but meeting up and improving upon that standard is with individual companies. I'm sure the desire of any businessman is to try to keep his clients. That the Hajj Commission cannot do for you. It is your performance that will determine and helps you to keep your clients.
Barrister Abdullahi pointed out that conferences of this nature allows for better understanding between the Commission and the tour operators, saying that the activities of the operators will be closely monitored to ensure quality service delivery.
It is not our prayer that services should not be rendered. Our hope and desire is services should be rendered so that pilgrims get benefit of or get value for their money. But where services are not rendered, that money will not go.
The Commission is now insisting that for every service not rendered by the State Pilgrims Board or any tour operator, refund will be made just as in 2015, when NAHCON received 1.5 billion naira from agencies and organizations that failed to render services to pilgrims for which payments had been made.
Where poor service are rendered by any one of you, we will make sure that we recover that money and pay back to the pilgrim who paid for such services. That we have done with the state. We are able to recover about 1.5 billion, which we refund for the entire Nigerian pilgrims.
The chairman reiterated the readiness of NAHCON to deal with any company that operates outside the provisions of the Commission's Act.
No company holding briefcase without any structure can receive allocation to operate or can receive authorization to operate Hajj or Umrah in Nigeria anymore. Having put companies into these rigorous ways of licensing, certainly the Commission cannot look the other way if some other companies decided to do otherwise.
This decision was sequel to the discovery by NAHCON that some companies operate without authorization or have failed to update their registration. The discovery was made by NAHCON inspectors who went round the country to oversight the activities of tour operators. Consequently, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, has given more than 100 Hajj and Umrah tour operators a 21-day ultimatum within which to comply with rules and regulations of their operations or face sanctions.
We have not sealed any office of travel agency. What we did is to inform them that the activities they are carrying without the license of the Commission is illegal.
Understanding the position of NAHCON, the companies are now complying.
The response from the travel agencies whom we found to be illegal is positive because they've been coming to the Commission now to register.
The tour operators are now seeing the benefits of this step taken by NAHCON.
Some of us did not understand what NAHCON was trying to do. We thought these are people who should help us in the industry, but because we did not fathom what they were trying to do to the industry, many of us wrongly assumed that they were trying to bring us down. But as time goes on, we now realized that NAHCON is trying to standardize. NAHCON is trying to mold and to produce from Nigeria tour operators that can compete with their likes around the world and provide such services as are of international standard, obtainable any other place in the world. This is what they are trying to produce in us, and to some extent they have succeeded.
This is what NAHCON is set to achieve in Hajj management in the country, and to also make more efforts to fine-tune strategies for the success of both Hajj and Umrah in the years ahead.
The relay for the reform of Hajj activity is just beginning. If we are alive, so many things will come.
The miqat is an Arabic word. It means a stated place in relation to the Hajj. Miqat is the point or location where pilgrims on Hajj or Umrah put on the ihram, that is, the white garment, after declaring their intention. The declaration is very central to the performance of the Umrah or Hajj. There are 5 approved points or miqat where this can be done, and this depends on the direction from which pilgrims are heading to Mecca. These are Juhfa. It is the miqat for pilgrims who come to Mecca from the direction of Syria. Zulhulayfa is the miqat for those who approach Mecca from the direction of Medina. Yalamlam. This point serves pilgrims coming from the direction of Yemen. Qarn al-Manazil. This miqat is for pilgrims from Najd region, which generally is the middle of Saudi Arabia. Zat al-Irq. Pilgrims from Iraq and Iran use this miqat. Any pilgrim going into Mecca with the intention of performing Hajj or Umrah must not cross the miqat without having the ihram on.
سطع في المدينة محمد